Feeling so good from the inside out. Better than your morning would feel without. I'm your host, Herbie. Good morning. It's 5:33 a.m. on another Wednesday. It is September 8th, 2021, Warfare Wednesday. We talk about today how you amazing window to this godlike experience that you are. You are indeed more than just a body. You are more than a body. You are more than just a body. We're stretching our self awareness every day, every morning, every weekday morning like a muscle. As we are please allowing, if you would join me in allowing all of these words to enter one ear and then out the other, as if you were some kind of cartoon character and these texts were just materializing in the air and then going in one ear and out the other this entire time, this entire podcast, as we are reacting to the meaning behind the words and not necessarily the individual objects, right? As we are stretching our self awareness, using our sense of the world to make sense of the world, waking the worlds up physically, mentally, spiritually, and then physically again. Wherever you are, as we're stretching our self awareness, are you outside or are you just waking up? Are you maybe just kicking off the sheets in the morning? Are you outside or are you inside? Are you just opening the garage door? Are you walking outside? Are you able to feel the weight of the body on the front of the spine? And remember that the back of the spine is not the weight-bearing portion of the spine, but rather the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Say it with me. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Say it. Weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Weight-bearing portion of the spine ain't the back. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. One more time. Weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Here on Power Go On, as we're going to discuss that you are more than just a body, but we will be using some body magic turiksa. We'll be using some body magic tricks to make you feel so good from the inside out. How? With the help of your only no-nonsense podcast, through your best feeling network, and through with the help of your own body, baby, from the inside out, as we are stretching our self-awareness, moving it around like taffy to make you breathe very well. These body magic tricks. Please join me in using that self-awareness of yours to simply place in your imagination, in your perception, place a candle, a lit candle, a floating lit candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out. And it's just sitting there and you're trying to not put it out. You're not even thinking about inhaling or exhaling necessarily, just there's a lit candle in front of your lips. Trying to not put out. And remember to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you do so. Always remembering that the tip of the tongue is anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. The back of your tongue is not the anchor of your tongue, but rather the back of your tongue is vertical up and down, while the front tip of your tongue is anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And how does that feel for you? As you are one more time with your internal representation, thinking about how the back one-third of your tongue is vertical. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. The back one-third of your tongue is vertical, up and down. And your tongue is not anchored there, but rather the tongue is anchored by the front tip of your tongue, as it is feeling like it is anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, back of the bottom incisors, and kind of just moves from there like a control panel if you see this elbow. Wherever you are, how does it feel to place a candle in front of your lips? How does it feel to whomever you're speaking to become aware of them by imagining the candle in front of their lips too, and imagine that they're doing the same thing, which is pretending a candle is in front of your lips. And say it with me, trying to not put it out. Even if it's just in your head, because you're trying to not put it out. Say it with me. You're trying to not put it out. There's a lit candle in front of your lips, and it's just flickering there. You're not thinking about exhaling or blowing out and blowing in. You're just thinking about trying to not let it get put out by yourself. And everybody else around you and everybody you become aware of. How does it feel when you want to become aware of them? Should we not use this awareness? We're always living in our eyes, wondering why we get so depressed as we're living in our eyes. What if we become aware of people not through just the vision, but rather by perceiving the candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out? How do we be around people again? How do we feel like ourselves again? Let's put our attention on the proper areas. How do we be ourselves again? How do we be ourselves around people again? How do we be ourselves around people again? By placing a candle about 2 to 3 inches away from their lips, in your mind's eye, and in your mind's eye, knowing that they're trying to not put it out, as they're leaving their swallowing muscles alone, leaving your swallowing muscles alone, anchoring the tip of the tongue, and observing your sense of self. Knowing that the back 1/3 of the tongue is always vertical, up and down, while the tip of the tongue is anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. Today we talk about how you are more than just a body. Does that feel so good to know that you are more than just a body? What do you mean you're more than just a body? You're some floating kind of spirit? Well, what is your awareness on? Your intentions, your awareness, is that invisible? But isn't that still part of you? When you place your attention on this candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out, and you leave your swallowing muscles alone as you are anchoring the tip of your tongue and becoming aware of your sense of self, is that not you as well? Are those intentions, is that awareness, is that action through time not you as well? Do you not move through space and time? And are those not you as well? Are we not more of our actions than we are our body? Our body itself is committed to the actions that we end up doing. You are more than just a body. You are your awareness. As your awareness decides what your body ends up doing. You are your actions. You are what you do. Love is an act. You are an action. You are over time. You are not just a body. You are a body over time. You are more than just a body. You are your actions. You are your intentions. You are your awareness. Most of all, you are your awareness, for you act only on what you are aware of. You can't act on things that you're not even aware of. It's not in the inside world. We act on things that are in our awareness. You are more than just a body, but your body and its actions reflect what your awareness is on. You're more than just a body. You're what your awareness is on. As in, can't everybody place a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out, and to leave their swallowing muscles alone, as they do so? And can't everyone become aware of other people, like a Sims character, or like a video game character, or like some kind of Dota character? Can't you place a mouse over people in the world to become aware of them, to hold hands with them in your third eye or whatever, in your mind's eye or whatever, by placing a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to also not put out, just like you. As you're leaving your swallowing muscles alone, letting that candle flicker. You're not trying to put that candle out, but you're letting it flicker in front of the lips. Anchoring that tip of the tongue to the back of the bottom front teeth, always while the back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical. Leave your swallowing muscles alone, as they are as well. And can't we hold each other in each other's awareness, actually, instead of just being so afraid to lose each other using vision? But aren't we relating to them? Isn't our body becoming empathetic as we are literally perceiving the candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out, and to leave their swallowing muscles alone as they do so? I challenge you today to hold people in your awareness this way. Place into your awareness the candles in front of every human, every living being that you have in your awareness. Yourself, anybody you're looking at, people you care about, people you don't care about, anybody. I challenge you today to become aware of them, not just as flat images, but as people also placing candles in front of their lips. As you, I challenge you as well to place a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out in your awareness, and leave your swallowing muscles alone. Anchoring the tip of the tongue, all of that good stuff with the candle. React to it. And I challenge you to become aware. I challenge you to become aware of others this way as well today. Observing your sense of self, everyone observing their sense of self. I challenge you to become aware of people this way, as people observing their sense of self with a candle that they're trying not to put out, with their anchors of the tongue. Because you are more than just a body, we are what we do. We are what we do, for better or for worse. But we are what we do. As in, are we also placing a candle in front of our lips? You are more than just a body. You are more than the color on your skin. Obviously, you are more than what you look like on the outside. What is so important is what you are doing with this candle. We'll be right back on Power 1. Just a body. You are more than just a body. You are more than just a body. are more than just a body. You are more than just somebody. You are more than just a body. Welcome back to Padawan. You are more than just a body today on September 8, 2021, Warfare Wednesday. Welcome back. Today we talk about you are more than just a body. You are more than just a body. You are what your body does, which is all about what is in your awareness, as you know. What is in your awareness? People be silly thinking today that you only make thousands of actions a day. You only make thousands of decisions a day. But you are more than just a body. As in, the decisions that you make are more than just these small outward reflections of what your body does. But even where your eyes look, even the facial expressions you make, the posture changes that your body ends up making, they're all part of decision making that you make, whether you are aware of them or not, because your body has awareness that is on the unconscious and subconscious level. Even what you place your awareness on, which will decide how your eye twitches, which will decide how your eyes wiggle, or will decide if you crack a half smile before looking away, or if you do a full smile and then look away, or if you smile at all, or if you're paying attention, or if your eyes decide to dart around the room, or if your eyes are steady. What your awareness on will decide all these things. Little micro movements, thousands of decisions a day, tens of thousands of decisions a day. How many individual movements do your eyes make a day? Combined with your arms, your legs, your hands. Is there any way to quantify exactly how many decisions you're making a day? Just by looking at the body? How? The body is a non-linear object. You are more than just a body. Your body is this limited outward expression of what you're actually going through. You are more than just a body. You are more than just a body. You are more than just a body. But can we quantify all the little small things that you are doing in that body of yours? Or can we just look at what your awareness is on, as your body's constantly doing infinite amounts of things, especially when you combine the idea of the different parts of your bodies reacting to different things, as your entire body is an entire amazing consciousness being that's constantly trying to faithfully perform out all instructions that are given at any different scope of consciousness at any different time in your body, whether that be the shame in your left side, if your body unconsciously wants to hide a little bit from some people on your left side, your body might hunch over a little bit while you're still writing this paper. Your body's doing multiple things as it's trying to faithfully carry out all different kinds of instructions from different levels of consciousnness, whether that be your emotional realm, whether that be your realm for survival of yourself, whether that be the realm of your confidence of yourself, whether that be the realm of your sexual needs, whether that be the realm for your food needs, whether that be the realm for your need to be accepted by a certain group. Your body's trying to faithfully carry out the instructions of all these different types of concerns in your awareness. Isn't that why we find it so great to be wholesome, as our awareness becomes on one thing, so we're not stressed out about all these different things in our bodies, all different types of conflict? But isn't it great that you are more than just a body? Because if you were just your body, then you would just be that outward reflection that ends up coming out, but what we know, the outward reflection of what your body ends up doing is a limited scope that is a combination of all these different conflicts that are happening in the body. You get this one outward expression that does not accurately describe what's actually going on in the inside of who you really are, which is more than just a body. You are also the actions and the decisions you make against hardships in order to overcome. You are more than just a body. You are more than just this body that you can project onto the world and hope that they like this version that you want them to see. But you are also this intention and awareness, this intentional awareness within this body that the world cannot see, as the world will only get a finite, limited perspective of you, which is your body. But you are more than just a body. You are what your awareness is on, as it affects everything about you. You cannot see that on the outside world necessarily with just the body. You are more than just a body. You are your body over time. You are the works that you've done over time. You are the skills that you've gained over time. You are the struggles that you put in. You are the pain that you've received and overcome to change for the better in ways that you deem for the better. And as we all know, we all are the same in the sense that our spirits are always trying to feel for the better. Whatever charges our spirits might be different depending on what your awareness is on, but we are all in the same, in which we have a buoyancy. We are trying to always rise up towards the surface. Our soul has no choice, has no free will but to try to rise up to the surface, but to try to feel better always. Like a rubber ducky underneath debris, in a lake. The rubber ducky's buoyancy will forever, always, 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 just because of its relationship with the water. The ducky will always, 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 without fail, will be trying to get to the surface, just like our spirits. Will always, always, always try to fight to overcome the suffering that it's in. Will always fight, fight, fight to feel as high as it can, to feel as without suffering, to feel as free as it can. Our spirits all together now. Our spirits all together now. You are more than just a body, because your body is not this thing that is constantly floating up towards the surface like we know our spirit is. What do you mean your spirit is constantly bubbling up to the surface, Herbie? What do you mean that we're all the same in that way? As in, aren't we all always trying to feel the best for ourselves? Aren't we always all just trying to do the best for ourselves? As we are placing that candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out, and to leave our swallowing muscles alone, anchoring the tip of the tongue to the back of the bottom front teeth. Not the back 1/3 of the tongue where your swallowing muscles are, where you want to leave them alone. And remember that the back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical. How do we know that we are more than just a body? Don't we have a buoyancy towards our spirit wanting to overcome suffering? Whatever we perceive to be suffering for us, don't we have a resistance toward? Don't all human beings have a feeling of wanting to not be in that mode of suffering? Whatever they define to be that suffering might be different, might be distinct, might be individual from culture to person to family. But whatever is in their current awareness that is causing them suffering, don't we have a buoyancy about our suffering that wants to relieve ourselves of this suffering? Isn't that what this suffering is perceived us to be as? This force in which we want to be avoidant of it. Doesn't suffering alarm us to the world that we are aware of? Doesn't suffering alarm us to what we are concerned about, what concerns us, or what should concern us about in the world? And don't we have a spiritual buoyancy about it? All together now, don't we all have a spiritual buoyancy about it? Of wanting to overcome this suffering no matter what it is? You are more than just a body, but you are this spirit that has a buoyancy to want to overcome. You are more than just a body. You are a body over time. You are more than just a body. You are a mind with intentional awareness, the ability to intentionally become aware of certain things, to also unconsciously become aware of things. And it's good to become intentionally aware of that unconscious awareness. But isn't your experience more than just a body, as you are a spirit that is constantly trying to rise above suffering? Even the idea of you being stuck in a body that you possibly might not desire, or more might be fearful that people might not desire. Even that is part of your spiritual buoyancy. as you are trying to overcome that suffering, aren't you? What suffering might that bring? Social suffering. Socially constructed suffering. Socially constructed suffering. As though not everything is socially constructed. Human beings are social creatures, so everything is socially constructed. Now, what's important to discuss is whether or not the social construction is being received properly. But everything we do is a social construction, considering the fact that everything humans do is social. So the idea of body shaming or thinking that you are just a body, or even thinking that you are not just a body, all of these are social constructs, as we are constructing ourselves socially as human beings, as we always do. We have always been social creatures. The important thing to look at is how we are dealing with this, how we are dealing with these social constructs. How are we dealing with these social constructs? Are we looking at these human social constructs as something that is useful to us, or are we, like, as in it's something that's useful and part of the design to be looked at, or are we looking at social constructs as if they are something that is no longer valid? But don't they have a purpose, just like everything in a human being has a purpose? Pain and imbalance have a purpose in the human body to allow oneself to see how they can go about correcting that imbalance from an internal way. Shame and embarrassment, often said as social constructs, have the purpose of allowing people to communicate how they feel about their own actions in relationship to how they feel with the person in which their action was acted upon. With shame and embarrassment, these are building blocks towards communicating, even without language. Well, it is a language, but even without verbal language, these are building blocks towards communicating how the self feels about how they are interacting, or how their relationship is now with another person. Without verbal language, we're able to communicate that. Does it have purpose besides simply emotional purpose? Well, of course, every part of the human experience has a purpose, is an intention to communicate something. Does it have a purpose, though? This shame, if we're talking about being ashamed of the body, for example. All these social constructs, don't they have purpose? Aren't they emitting something about the human experience from the inside out? And so isn't the body itself and what it's going through, emotionally or not, isn't it actually a language? Not just happening to this person, not just causing suffering to this person, but even the reaction to this suffering, as well as the suffering that is happening to them as well. Isn't it communication between them and the world and everyone around them? You are more than just a body. You are your body over time, which means your body and how you deal with suffering. As in, are you placing that suffering in the hands of someone else to handle? Or are you remembering to always pretend that there's a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out? And to leave your swallowing muscles alone, as that candle's just flickering there. You're trying to not put it out. You're leaving your swallowing muscles alone as you do so. It's nothing you can't handle, this world, right now. Just remember that in front of everybody's lips, there's a candle that they're trying to not put out. And they're trying to leave their swallowing muscles alone. Everyone in the world that you're aware of, they're just observing their sense of self. They're just going on break, and we'll be back right here on Padawan. Feeling so good from the inside out. Better than your morning would feel without. Welcome back to Go On. It is Warfare Wednesday, 6:06 a.m., September 8, 2021. Talking about today how you are more than just a body, baby. Although you feel so good in that body, baby. Aren't you more than just your body? You are your body's choices. You are your body's intentional awareness. You are the choices that your body makes. You are the decisions that you make from problem to problem. The choices that you make to overcome the problems in your lives. Even the problems of where should I look at somebody's face while they're speaking to me. We are all of that. You are more than just a body. You are your body over time. You are the choices that you make. You are the differences that you place into your awareness. You have access to this entire pantheon, this library of actions that your body's constantly doing in different ways, in different scopes, in different ways, in all different scopes. You are constantly establishing meaning in the world. Even to just create relationships, even to simply walk outside, even to simply have what you need in your head to be able to speak about yourself or speak your desires, to see what you want, to see what you don't want. You are this amazing window to this godlike experience. You are more than just this body. You are this body over time. You are this body over time. As in, of course, people make mistakes. Of course, people need to be forgiven to understand where their mistakes are. Of course, people need to know where their weaknesses are. They need to be able to make mistakes to be able to improve. Of course, you are a body over time. You are not just a body. You are not just a body. You are not just a body. Please say it with me. You are not just a body. One more time. You are not just a body. You are yourself over time. You are the questions that you ask. You are the ways that you orient yourself upon coming to crossroads, upon coming to conflict. You are the person. You are the decisions you make in those times. However, what matters most about who you are is not those individual decisions. Yes, those are you. But what matters not is not those individual decisions, but rather what's in your awareness. As in, are you placing awareness on this candle that's in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out in order to regulate, in order to feel emotionally unaffected by the moment? Why? So that you can feel most certain about this moment, so you feel most authentic about this moment. Are you regulating yourself emotionally by placing a candle, and physically by placing a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out? And to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you do so. Always remembering to anchor the tip of the tongue to the back of the bottom front teeth to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you're observing your sense of self. Why does it matter that we are placing our awareness on those things? Well, because we're not looking. Yes, you are those individual things that you do, but those individual things that you do, there's so many of them, right? What's most important to look at is what your awareness is on. And so is your awareness on breathing well so that you can be in the moment and be most authentic in the moment and experience the moment with most clarity so that you are most certain about the moment, because doesn't uncertainty kill freedom like nothing else? Don't we want to be most certain in this moment so that we can feel confident that we're free in this moment? And to feel free in this moment, shouldn't we be not unfazed by emotion, but shouldn't we not be taken over? Shouldn't we not be commanded by our emotions in order to be free, in order to be able to experience the moment in its authenticity and be able to trust that we were certain about the moment that we experienced and it wasn't colored too much by emotion in a way that we can't see that moment anymore? Because don't we know that uncertainty kills freedom like nothing else? And isn't freedom happiness? So feeling uncertain about the moment, not being sure if you saw the moment that you really saw, doesn't that restrict you from freedom and acting in the moment because you're now uncertain about what you really saw? And doesn't being emotional cause you to be uncertain about those moments? So don't we need to resist ourselves from being emotional by what? By becoming aware of everybody, because we're trying to be ourselves, right? By becoming aware of everybody, by pretending there's a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. And to leave their swallowing muscles alone as they do so, observing their sense of self. And where's that anchor? And where's their tip of the tongue anchored to? Of course, the tip of the tongue is anchored to the back and bottom of the teeth. The back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical for everybody. They're not even in your awareness until you place a candle in front of your lips. The definition of becoming aware is now placing a candle in front of their lips. The definition of becoming aware of somebody is placing a candle in front of their lips in your mind's eye, in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. The definition of becoming aware of somebody is in your mind's eye, placing a candle in front of their lips they're trying to not put out. As they leave their swallowing muscles alone, and as they're observing their sense of self, and of course, leaving their swallowing muscles alone, making their tongue go wherever it's supposed to go. Making their tongue rest by anchoring the tip of the tongue to the back of the bottom front teeth. As you are remembering that the back 1/3 of your tongue is indeed vertical. Up and down, up and down, up and down, while the tip of the tongue is anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. The back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. As you leave your swallowing muscles alone and observe your sense of self, you don't even become aware of nobody, including yourself, till there's a candle in front of the lips that they're trying to not put out in your mind's eye. You're not even aware of yourself. And self-awareness is the most important thing. You're not even aware of yourself until there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone, anchoring the tip of the tongue, and observing your sense of self. No matter where you are, self-awareness is the key to breathing well physically, as your body's mechanisms to breathe well actually involve feeling the sense of self. We're pretending there's a candle in front of our lips or anybody that we want to become aware of. You are not aware of them. You are not aware of yourself until now, until you place a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. And to leave your swallowing muscles alone as you're observing your sense of self. You're anchoring the tip of the tongue to the back of the bottom front teeth as you're trying to not put your candle out. You are more than just a body. You are more than just a body. You are the actions that you perform. You are what you think about. You are the feelings that you feel. You are this body that experiences life over time. But what do you have to do with all that? There's so many choices about feelings to have, about what to move in your body, about where to go, about how to think, about what to be aware of. Haha. But all those defined by what you're aware of. At least as far as you're concerned, as being an active part of it. You are more than just a body. You are the things that you're doing. You are the pain that you feel. You are the way that you overcome that pain and suffering. You are what you do to overcome it. You are the people around you that you love. You are the people around you that you dislike. You are your goals. You are your dreams. You're more than just a body. You're all of those things. But all of those things are so many things. So what are you really? Well, really, what's just in your awareness? As that is going to define all those other things that you can't even put a number on. All those micro decisions towards going towards these goals that you don't even know that you're aware of. On the inside, you are more than just a body. You are all those different things. You are this body and you are this life over time. What control do you have over this monolith of information that your body is constantly spewing out, though? You have control over your awareness. What your body is on. What your body is aware of. What your mind is aware of. You do have control over what's in your awareness. Over what you place in your awareness. As in, are you placing into your awareness the idea that the weight of the body is delivered down the back of the spine incorrectly? As you might think by the word back? Or are you placing your awareness onto a truism, which is the weight-bearing portion of the spine, is actually, say it with me, front. Say it with me, the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. And one more time before we go on break, please say it with me, even if it's in your head. Remember the candle in front of your lips that you're trying not to put out. And you're observing your sense of self. Please say it with me. The weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Remember to become aware of people. And remember the definition of becoming aware of people. And we'll be right back. so good from the inside out, better than your morning would. Feel it out. Welcome back to Pal Go On. It is 6:19 a.m. I want to thank you for joining us today here on September 8th, 2021, where we talk about you are more than just a body. You are your body over time. And doesn't that feel so good? Doesn't that feel so fine on Warfare Wednesday? Waking the worlds up physically, mentally, spiritually, then physically again. Hope you're doing well out there, wherever you are. Are you driving in a car? Are you perhaps going to the beach? Or are you just going home? Maybe you're listening to this in the evening. What are you up to? I said, what are you up to? Are you on the road right now? Or are you just walking around? Maybe your dog. Are you walking your dogs? Are you chilling with the family? Are you about to go swimming? Did you take a shower today? Is it raining or is it sunny outside? Have you seen your family lately, or you've just been alone? Have you been working on yourself? Is there something you're anxious about, or are you feeling pretty free these days? Are you remembering to become aware of people? Are you remembering that your awareness is placing a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out? And they're leaving their swallowing muscles on, but they're not trying to put that candle out. Even if they're talking to you directly, feel free to look at them right between the eyes. But use your kinesthesia and use your third eye, use your mind's eye, your inner eye, use your imagination to perceive the candle in front of their lips as they're speaking to you, as they're like, hey, you didn't take out the trash. Remember to pretend there's a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. And that they're leaving their swallowing muscles all the way alone and observing their sense of self. Even when they're like, hey, I told you not to buy that, or I told you not to use your money for that. Look them right between the eyes, look them in the forehead. As you can, as you know that you do not necessarily need to look people in the eyes, especially if your eyes are looking at them and you are perceiving to be aware of them as placing a candle in front of their lips. The same way you would select a video game character, or imagine a video game character being selected, or like an item on a digital screen to be selected with an arrow or something. You want to select the people in your awareness by placing a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. Instead of an arrow, there's a candle now floating in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. And they're leaving their swallowing muscles alone, anchoring the tip of the tongue to the back of the bottom front teeth, remembering that the back 1/3 of their tongue is vertical as they're observing their sense of self, as they're reorienting their internal representation of themselves to correct their body map, baby. How do you become aware of somebody? Not by placing a cursor on them, but maybe kind of placing a candle in front of them, in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. And remember that they're also leaving their swallowing muscles alone. And their tongue looks like that. You are more than just a body. You are all the decisions. You are the body over time, which is affected by what? Your awareness. And what are you becoming aware of? Well, let's place a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out so that we can become aware of feeling so great from the inside out. Because when you feel great, you think great. And when you think great, you do great. Please say it with me. One time. When you feel great, or please say it with me. When you feel good, you think good. And when you think good, you do good. Isn't that so true? As we are remembering to place our weight down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches, when? Like pretty much like all of the times. And then you're anchoring the tip of the tongue to the back of the bottom front teeth. Always, 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 no matter if you're doing a backflip, no matter if you're underwater, no matter if you're on an island or if you're on the mainland, you anchor the tip of the tongue. The tip of the tongue should feel anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. Always, always, as we are observing our sense of self. And leaving our swallowing muscles all the way alone. Again, as we're pretending that there's a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out. It's just flickering there. It's just flickering there, and you're trying to not put it out. As you're observing your sense of self, one more time, please pretend with me, even if it's just in your head, like all things you pretend, that human beings have a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. As they leave their swallowing muscles alone, and observe their sense of self. Remembering that the tip of the tongue is actually the anchor of the tongue, and it's anchored to the tip of the back of the bottom front teeth. The back 1/3 of the tongue is actually vertical up and down. And you can leave it alone. As it's vertical up and down, up and down, up and down. The back 1/3 of your tongue is vertical, up and down. As in the back of the tongue closer to the swallowing area is vertical. The back 1/3 of it is vertical, up and down, up and down. As you leave your swallowing muscles alone. And feel the front of your shins into your awareness. Pretend that there's a candle again, always. Just knowing in your awareness that the human beings have a candle in front of their lips. Let's skip the middleman. Just know that human beings have a candle in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. And to leave their swallowing muscles alone as they do so. Because aren't we more than just a body, but we are what our body is paying attention to, because that defines our entire breathing experience, which defines our entire lived experience. You're pretending that there's a candle in front of the lips that you're trying to not put out, as every human being is. As they leave their swallowing muscles alone. Aware of the shape of their tongue and where it's anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, back 1/3 of the tongue being vertical. As we observe our sense of self, because we are more than just a body, but we are what our body pays attention to. We are what our body is aware of, unconsciously, subconsciously, consciously for us. We are more than just a body. We are what our body becomes aware of, because what our body becomes aware of turns out to affect the way our body breathes, and the way our body breathes turns out to affect everything that we do, feel, and think. You are more than just a body. You are what your body is aware of, as what your body is aware of will define its entire experience in a very literal way. As we are becoming more aware of where the way our body should be, the way our body should behave. And how should it behave? Well, there's always a candle in front of our lips, about 2 to 3 inches, that we're trying to not put out. And to leave our swallowing muscles alone as we do so. Always remembering that the tip of the tongue is the anchor, and it's anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth, and back 1/3 of the tongue is vertical. And simply observe our sense of self. As we are achieving world peace through inner world peace and strength. World peace through individual strength. We'll see you here tomorrow on the Truth Hurts Day. September 9th, it will be on the Truth Hurts Day tomorrow. We will see you there tomorrow. Here on Pal Go On. I'm your host, Herbie. Good morning, everybody. And this has been another episode of Pal Go On. You're more than just a body. You're what your body is aware of. And what your body is aware of defines that entire beautiful, godlike experience of yours. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. My name is Herbie. I'm your host, Herbie, and this has been absolutely Pal Go On.